I got some tea to spill, so if you're ready to chill, take a Jill pill.
Hello, welcome back to Take a Jill Pill. I'm shaking the dust off a little bit. I took 1 week off, okay? I'm not going crazy, but it is kind of weird. I'm like, oh, what do I say? Anyway, hi, welcome back. How you doing? Guys, there's so much that has happened lately. And if you're listening to this like in the future, sorry. But if you're in the moment, I mean, you can still listen. It's going to be fun. We're going to get to things that are evergreen. But we have to talk about a few things right off the bat, like the Nancy Guthrie story, which there's been a few developments, all right? There's just a lot of chatter. They still haven't found her as of the time that I'm recording this podcast. I almost recorded this last night. And then there was all this kind of buzz around like, have they found DNA and all this? And I was like, maybe I need to wait because this is big breaking. This has been since I think episode 1, we've been talking about Nancy Guthrie. So anyway, it's been kind of like a dead zone, you know, well, I shouldn't say it like that, but it's been sort of dead zone, like nothing's been going on. I still said it again. Anyway, but now there's some chatter, like, did they find DNA of someone in the house? And then Savannah's back on the Today Show, but the other day she like abruptly left for some reason and nobody knew why. There's rumors that they've found the body. But I don't know what to believe, guys. As you know, I don't believe anything. So I don't know, but I think that there's something coming. I feel like I have a little hope that we're going to get some answers surrounding the Nancy Guthrie story. And I don't know, maybe we won't, but I'm feeling like it's going to happen. Do you think so? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Another conspiracy, before we just like go, you know, I just need to jump into these things because they're right on the tip of my tongue. They're happening in real time right now. So before I give you even an overview, I'm like, what about all the scientists that are dying or missing? Have you heard about this? Okay. I've been watching this story for a little while, not to sound like, oh, I knew about it before everyone else, because that's how I just sounded to myself, and I didn't mean it like that. But all of a sudden, it's a little more public right now. Like, I think the president spoke about it the other day and was like, yeah, this is kind of weird. So bottom line, there are 11 now scientists who have disappeared or have been killed or took their own lives, apparently, allegedly, in the last, I don't know how long it's actually been, so I should give you more information on that. But all of these scientists have like top clearance, like high level, they have access to like this highly classified information, specifically a lot about UFOs and extraterrestrial stuff, which you know, I want to know. There's so much information about that out there, and we don't know it, but they do. There's nuclear info. There's this one last scientist that went missing. She was like an expert on anti-gravity and extraterrestrial stuff. And I'm like, she supposedly, I believe that one, it said that she took her own life. I don't know, guys. So I went on, I was like reading all these articles, and then I just went to ChatGPT. I kind of hate ChatGPT, but here we are. I know Claude is better. Everyone's told me, go to Claude, and I have actually gone, but I get stuck sometimes. It's just easy to just open ChatGPT because it's like a habit. So anyway, I opened it up and I was like, hey, give me a quick overview of these scientists thing, this whole deal. And ChatGPT came down hard on me. It was like, hey, Jill, I mean, it didn't really say this, but if it had a voice, it would have been like, you know what? You can't believe everything you hear. This is not even proven. Like, it was like defending the story as if like, I was like, whoa, are you guilty much, ChatGPT? Like, obviously this is true. Chat like went crazy on me. They were like, you can't just assume that. I was like, have you ever met someone who's just so defensive that you're like, oh my gosh, they're obviously super guilty. Like, they're lying to me right now. Chat was super lying. I didn't keep it up, but it was like, you can't believe everything you read. None of this has been actually proven, and you are reading it. It was like reprimanding me. And I was like, Chat, you are not my boss. You are not the boss of me. Okay. I'm going to my conspiracy sites. Bye. Anyway, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with chatbots and AI. I kind of, you know, honestly, if I had to be totally just straight up, I know there's good about AI and I know there's bad about AI and I know it's like nuanced. If I'm giving you my frank answer here, like I would be fine with none of it. I would be fine to go back to carriages and like growing your own wheat, you know, and being Amish or whatever. You know, I kind of feel like that right now. There's too much technology. It's like, it's going to take all our jobs and it's going to take over us and it's going to reprimand us like Chat did to me about, I'm just asking a question, okay? I can go find this information. It's like, I'll go somewhere else, Chat. I don't need you in my life, okay? Whew. All right. What else did I want to cover before I get into the meat and potatoes of this episode? Oh, I went to Trader Joe's last week. I always feel like I need to update you guys on this. Because when I find something that's worth sharing, I like to spread the love. You know what I mean? Like, hey, try this. I will say I have not been able to find that carrot cake cream cheese that I talked about. And one of my friends recently was like, I went to find it too. And she's in Nashville. She was like, I couldn't find it. And I'm like, I don't think it's real. I don't know. Has anyone found that? Because I do want to try it kind of, but I haven't found it. But I got a really bad snack at Trader Joe's. So I was in the dried fruit section, it's like trail mix and dried mango and all this stuff. Did I ever tell you about the dried chili mango I got? I don't know why I think I'm going to like dried fruit, and I don't generally like it, but I feel like, oh, this is better than like a sugary snack. So I'll get some. I like their dried apples are pretty good. And I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but some of their stuff's fine. But like dried fruit, I don't know. But I saw this thing and it was like freeze dried watermelon. And I was like, I love watermelon. That could be a good little snack. It's like, just a little crunch during the day when you need a little something, a little hit. So I bought it. Not thinking that watermelon, like the thing that makes watermelon good is the water part of it. It's in the title. And also it's like a really good hydrating food. You know what I mean? So you need the water part of it. So they just suck all the water out of it and it tastes so bad. It has the worst flavor, the worst consistency. And I'm like, why in the world did I fall for this? I fell for dried watermelon. That's like drinking an empty glass of water, like dry water. What? I felt like the fool when I opened them in the car because that was just, sometimes you get excited when life's like kind of slow and it's like, you're having a rough day. You go to Trader Joe's and you just like get something new to try and then open it in the car like you're crazy and just living free, Anyway, it was terrible. I was like, oh, I can never have this again. So I did get the dried strawberries too, and those are pretty good actually. So that made up for it. But I know they always say like you can bring anything back if you don't like it. But the problem is, one, it was probably like $3. Do I care enough to bring a $3 open bag of dried watermelon back to Trader Joe's? Not really, no. And also then I would have to talk to someone there, at the desk, and they'd probably be like, why didn't you like it? What do you mean? And do you think that the watermelon needs water to be a watermelon? And I'm just, what are your plans for the day? And I just can't. I can't do it any more than I need to do it just to check out. I did. The cashier, when I was buying everything, he didn't, to his credit, he didn't comment on the stuff I was buying that day, which was nice. I appreciated that. Maybe he should have. Maybe he should have been like, have you tried this dried watermelon? Because don't. But anyway, he did say like, do you have any plans for the day? I think I went early too. It was like, I don't know, it was like 9 or 10 in the morning. Do you have any plans for the day? And I just want to be like, Joseph, I don't really tell people that I talk to every day what my plans are for the day, like that is not information that I'm sharing with the closest people in my life, like why am I going to tell you what my plans are for the day? And then also I feel like I have to hyperbolize some plans, like, because I'm like, I'm just going to work. And like, I'm not going to also be like, oh, I'm going to go see my mom. She's in a nursing home. And then I'm not going to give you like, how many details do you want here? Like, then I'm going to pick up my mail and I'll probably have lunch with a friend. And no, I just like, stop. It's not that exciting, my life, What would be an interesting story I could tell you? Like, I'm going to go home and record my podcast and I'm going to rip you a new one on it. That's my plan for the day, Joseph. I don't know that his name was Joseph, but it felt like a good name, at the moment. So anyway, that was my Trader Joe's extravaganza story. Also, I've been listening to this new podcast. I always feel like I like giving recommendations for podcasts because when you find a good one that you can kind of binge, isn't that the best? So this one is called Love Trapped. It's about the Bachelor guy. His name was Clayton. I don't think I watched his season, if I'm being honest. But his name's Clayton, and he was on The Bachelor, and it was kind of drama. And then he started dating this girl, like kind of. I'm not going to give away the farm here, but he started seeing this girl, and she claimed she was pregnant, even though that was kind of impossible from the whole situation. But she like roped him. Anyway, this was kind of this is what she does. And she made his life a total nightmare. And this is just following the whole story and the court case and the whole thing. It's really good. If you liked, did you ever listen to Scamanda? Or like Scamanda? First of all, it's just the best title in the world, Scamanda. This was this woman who scammed all these people. I'm into scams as well as conspiracies. I think it must be like a self-protection thing. Like, you can't scam me. You can't fool me. I'm not going to join your cult. I don't know. So I just load up on it. But anyway, Love Trapped. Check out that podcast if you need a new one. And if you never listened to or watched Scamanda, because that became a TV show as well, that's a good one too. Oh man, you feel sad for these people and angry at the same time, because clearly there's something not right that they have the capability of doing this to other people, but also like they are ruining lives. And it's just like, it's sad and it's infuriating and the whole thing. So it's just another interesting way to observe humanity and the many ways in which we are pretty messed up. Okay. Oh, but you know what show I do love that I've been watching? And someone asked me to talk about this, and I hadn't watched it yet last time, and I'm not done with it. That's so many precursors. Okay. Love on the Spectrum, the new season. Some people cannot watch this show, and I understand that, but I love Love on the Spectrum. My favorite part is when they're going to go out on a date and they introduce to the audience the person that they're going to date. So they have this like music and it's like, Madison is meeting Tyler. Tyler likes country music, potatoes, and and then Tyler doesn't like, I'm making this up, but it's like, Tyler doesn't like red snakes, blue potatoes, and Diet Coke, or whatever. It was like so random. So I was thinking, like, if I was on that show and if you were on that show, what would your intro be, So, because I am on the spectrum, so I could be on that show. Don't even start with me. All right, but Love on the Spectrum, I think it would be like, meet Jill. Jill likes bologna sandwiches, left-handed people, and wearing hats. Jill doesn't like Twizzlers, revolving doors, and elderly women giving her the thumbs down. You know what I mean? Like, that would be maybe my intro, because it's just weird enough to be weird, but it's also like, yeah, I can understand, not liking when elderly women give you the thumbs down. Speaking of Mary, in case you missed last episode, that was about a woman who's giving my mom a hard time in the nursing home and giving me a hard time in the nursing home. Mary, that's not her real name, but she continues to harass us and be a problem, but you gotta move forward, She did make fun of my mom's leopard pants the other day. My mom had like leopard leggings on. I'm sorry. If I can rock leopard leggings in my 70s, you better believe I will be, I don't think I've ever worn anything leopard in my life probably, but my mom is very fashionable and I want to keep her that way. You know what I mean? So she had on leopard pants and Mary made a snide comment about the pants. And I just am like, my brother was with her. I didn't hear it, which is probably better because I don't know, guys. I don't know what would be going on with Mary right now if I was there. So we'll just count that as a blessing. All right. Today's episode, now that we're significantly already into it in this moment, but I needed to get all that out of the way. I've had a lot to tell you. So take a breath. Okay. I'm going to talk about songwriting and music today from a few different angles. It's a big part of my life. It always has been, still is. I'm going to share about writing, specifically writing in Nashville, because that's such like a niche thing that people kind of hear about, but I'm going to give you a little inside story of what that's like. And I'm just going to kind of talk about the art of songwriting, how I got into it, why it's meaningful to me, some people who inspire me in that, and yeah, some of the experiences I've had. And then normally I would go into top 5, but I'm going to tie in, I asked you guys for listener questions around this topic, and you really came through. So I'm going to mix listener questions sort of into the stories about songwriting and music and performing, because you guys asked so many good questions. It gave me topics to talk about. So we're going to do listener questions, songwriting. Then I'm going to move into my top 5 songs of all time. Woo, that was tough. I'm not going to lie to you. Try doing that. It's hard. I'm just saying. Okay, and then I'm going to play an unreleased song for you that I've never shown anybody, kind of like I did a few weeks back. Because I have all these songs. I have like hundreds or thousands of songs probably, or at least ideas, but probably multiple hundreds of songs that live either in my voice memos app, on my computer, in my notes, and I'm just going to let a few of them out there. You know what I mean? So, all right. So we're going to do that. And then, of course, we'll end with the Jill Pill daily dose, and that'll be it. All right. So let's go. Okay. So songwriting and music is really a topic I could talk about all the time. So I wanted to do a full episode about it because I do get a lot of questions about it. Honestly, I've been writing songs since I was a young kid, and it's just who I am. And I think like, oh, everyone just kind of knows what that is and what it's like and what it's about. But that's not true. When you live in Nashville, a lot of people do. That is the story of a lot of people. You become friends with them, and that's your bubble. And so it just becomes very normal to like, just like, hey, do you want to get together and write a song? Or, hey, what have you written lately? Let's listen to it. It's a great culture and place for that. And I learned so much living there in that songwriting community. I think anyone who wants to be a songwriter on any level should live in Nashville for at least a little while, because it's unlike anywhere else in the world when it comes to songwriting. And maybe I should have known I would end up in Nashville at some point, but I didn't even really know it existed. You know, songwriting was in me from when I was young. I just always had it in my blood. I started writing poems when I was real little, like 3, 4, 5 years old. And then as soon as I learned to play an instrument, I started piano at like 8 or 9, I think, and then guitar at 11. And especially as soon as I picked up the guitar, I was just writing. My poems were just songs. So I was writing all the time. It's just what I would do. That was my hobby. But I didn't really understand there was more to it, more you could learn, more that there were other people doing it, that there was a place like Nashville even. I just liked doing it myself. It was like my private little hobby. But as far as writing and songwriting and producing and creating music in a way that could become a career, that didn't happen around here that I was involved in anyway, and where I grew up. And so it was very heavy on like sports, and I was an athlete. So I did that as well. And I just sort of did the songwriting thing internally. It was like my own little outlet. And then outwardly, I was playing basketball and all the sports and like traveling and doing all that. And I think I just thought basketball was my passion because I spent so much time doing it. And that's where I had friends and community and purpose. So it just kind of made sense. But I really think the thing that kept me energized and going, even as a kid, was writing and was singing and like creating. Creating a song is such a unique thing because like it's from start to finish, it's done. If you like, I mean, it's like 3.5 minutes and it's done, or however long. I like to write shorter songs, honestly, but not that it takes 3.5 minutes to write it, but when it's done, it's 3.5 minutes. And then you have this little piece of yourself that you're like, oh, that felt so good. You know, it's like, it feels good to hit a 3-point shot as well and like win a game. It does. But like there was something about when I would finish a song and then I could just play it over and over and over and over. And then I could listen to it over and over. And that sounds like a little narcissistic, but there's something about that just is very rewarding. To me, it was anyway. And I would learn a lot, I still do learn a lot about myself in the process of writing a song, because a lot of times what I say is the songs that I'm writing, it's a little bit psychic. And like sometimes, yeah, you're processing a certain situation and it comes out and you know exactly what it's about. But a lot of times, if I have a hard time finding my emotion, I will go to my guitar, my piano, start writing. And like, I know this sounds so woo-woo, but like whatever I end up writing will tell me what I'm thinking through the songs and lyrics that I'm writing. Like I don't even know, but when I write, then I know. It's how I process emotions. Or it's something and I'm like, I haven't even lived this yet. And I'm seeing it coming because I just wrote a song about it. It's a little psychic woo-woo, but hey, you know that about me now. So anyway, it's just so therapeutic for me. It was then and it still is now. So anyway, I just kind of thought, well, that's like my hobby, and to do it as a career, that's such a long shot. I'm too shy to ever perform. I'm not good enough. I don't really know what I'm doing because I never got coached or taught in songwriting or in music. I learned to play by ear. I just felt ill-equipped. I felt like, okay, this is good for me, but I don't think I can ever do it outside of me. So it's pretty weird that I ended up doing music as a career because I didn't think I could. When it actually kind of turned for me into a thing where I was like, oh, maybe I'm kind of good at this, there was a studio in Boston that I'd heard about, and this is not like me at all. So I don't know how I got the balls to do this, but I saved up money. I called this studio, or I don't know. I think I must have called it. It was called Mortal Music. That's how I should look it up. I doubt it's still around because there weren't studios around me. It was like, so I had to go to Boston. It was this studio called Mortal Music. And I was like, I want to record these 2 songs that I've written. Actually, it was 3 songs. And I saved up all my money. I think it was like, I don't know, it was like $500 a song, maybe more. I don't know. And I went down there by myself. I met this guy who was like this producer. He was very nice and like normal. When I think about it now, I'm like, that's shady, Jill. Like, really? I was probably 18 or 19, maybe. I don't know. Just showing up in probably my basketball shorts at this studio and being like, here are my songs. And he really took an interest in them and like was like, these are really good. Let's develop them. And I hear that now and I'm like, was he a scumbag? But nothing ever happened. So I think it was fine. And he did a great job on them. I'm so jaded now, guys. I'm like, well, that was shady. But I think it was legit. I think it was like, hey, these are good songs. You can actually sing and play on them. Like, let's do it. So I did 3 demos. I was very happy to just there's something about when you're a songwriter to hear, like you can write your song and it's on guitar or piano or whatever. And as it is, it's so nice. But to hear it produced and like fully imagined with drums and bass and guitars and keys and background vocals and all the things, it's almost like getting all dressed up for an event or a wedding or something like that. I don't really care about that stuff, so I don't know if that's a good analogy, but it's like, it's special. It's like there's something special about hearing something you wrote so organically and like intimately made complete. And that was the first time that I ever really felt like, wow, this is so cool. I love doing this. I want to do this. So I went to college to study journalism and media and all that. And while I was there, I heard about this music school on Martha's Vineyard that I've talked about, and where you could go and study songwriting and music. So I did. I signed up for it. I applied. I sent in the demos that I did at Mortal Music in Boston, and I got accepted, and I stopped playing basketball for that year and went down to this music school. And then my whole life changed, but I still had like a ton to learn about writing songs because the only thing I knew about how to write songs was just from listening to songs. I had to put all the pieces together myself. It's like same as writing anything. It's like if you want to write a novel, you read a lot of novels and you kind of know like how they sound and what they should be like. But there's probably more to it that you can learn about how to write a novel. Like here's how the arc should go, and here's where you need conflict, and here's where you need a resolution and all this stuff. That's the same with songwriting. And so when I went to this music school, I did learn a lot about structure and dynamic, and I learned how to write with other people because I had never done that before either, which is a huge part of the songwriting community is co-writing. Nashville is known for co-writing. And so I started learning about that. I started learning like what makes a good song, what doesn't. And I just took it all in for a few years, honestly. Is this all making sense? I feel like hopefully. Okay. So after I decided to go into music full time, I met Kate. We formed a duo. We wrote all of our songs together. And even though we were living in Nashville, I wasn't really involved in the community there because I was gone like 200 days a year or more. And so I didn't really do all of the writing with people. So when I came off the road, I was like, all right, I got to start getting into the writing thing. Because I wanted to, but I was intimidated by writing with other people because it's a pretty vulnerable thing to do, honestly. I don't write fluff very much. Like I can and I will sometimes, like, hello, I wrote Pop Song, which is like the most fluff song ever. But I don't write fluffy stuff that much. It's just not like in my nature. It's not because you know me, I'm pretty silly and like I'm pretty goofy and I'm not all serious. But the thing is that when it comes to writing and songs and songwriting, that's where I get my emotions out on paper, or I learn about the emotions going on in me. So usually that's kind of serious and like deep or intense, And so I have a hard time just going in and writing with someone I've never met. It's like, but that's what they do in Nashville. It's like they call it like a writing date. You have like a co-write date. And it's so funny because like you meet people and it's like, oh, you're a songwriter. I'm a songwriter. Hey, we should write sometime. That's like the joke, but it's true. Everyone says that to each other. And I remember just being like, no, I don't want to write with you because like like I said, it's like Joseph at Trader Joe's asking me what my plans are for the day. Like I save that information for the people that I really want to tell, but I needed to like expand my horizons a little bit and learn how to write differently and learn how to write with other people and like not be so closed-minded about like the only thing I can do is write alone or with Kate, because that sort of was my safe space. You know what I mean? So we started doing these co-writes and we'd go and meet with rando people several days a week. And this is the culture in Nashville. So let me set it up for you. Actually, this is a good time for a question because somebody asked about this specifically. They said, how does it work? How do you find people to work with? And then when you find each other, how do you know you can work together? Like, is there a music interview? That was such a great question. It was in 2 parts. Thank you for that. And that is like such an interesting thing because it's a lot like dating. You kind of have to go on this blind date. Usually you'll get set up by a manager or a friend or someone you meet randomly at some networking event. Ugh, I cannot tell you how much I hate that stuff, but it happens. You got to do it. So you are like, yeah, let's write on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, and they send you an address and you just show up. And it could be a house. It could be an office building. It could be anywhere. And it is like a house, honestly. That's sort of where most of the co-writes happen. But you show up and you're like, hey, do you have any, what are you thinking about today? It's so awkward, you guys. Like, I cannot tell you as an introvert, the fact that I ended up in this field, it has to be meant to be that I ended up doing all this because it so goes against my personality, honestly. Like, I'm just like, I'll stay home and write my own. It's like, I love to write by myself, truly. It's one of my favorite things because I feel like I can maybe be more honest. I don't know. But anyway, you show up, shoot the breeze for a little while, like get to know each other. You're having a coffee. You holding the guitars. It's so cliche, but it's true. It's what happens. And then it's like, hey, did you bring any ideas or do you have anything you've been going through that you want to like talk about? Or I have this idea. And you just kind of like build from there. And it's so awkward, but a lot of times you do end up getting somewhere relatively quickly once you start. But there have been times where I will show up and be like, there's just no chemistry whatsoever. You have to think about it like dating. You show up, it's like love on the spectrum. Let's bring it back. It's like they're sitting there at this date and they're like, so what color do you like? And they're like, red. And then it's like, okay, do you like chicken? Like that's what it feels like sometimes in songwriting sessions. And you just want to, for me, I just want to like snap my fingers and disappear, but you push through and you get somewhere. And so you just start working together, building this creation out of nothing, and it's so weird. And yet at the same time, when it works and when it goes well, it's one of the most magical experiences I could explain. It's so cool to just sit there with someone you just met, or sometimes it's people you know well, but you sit there and you come in with nothing and you leave with a song. And it's like, honestly, that's enough payment for me. You have to love it that much, I think, to look at it like that. But when you get a song out that you're pleased with and you're happy about and feels like a combined effort to create something beautiful, it sounds kind of cheesy, but like that's all the payment I need from it. If the song, because most of the songs like don't ever go anywhere, honestly. Most of the songs written in Nashville are not ones you'll ever hear. And they're really good. Some of them are really good ones. And you'll hear a lot of the really good ones, but some of them you'll never hear, whether they're from prolific songwriters who you'd know everything they wrote, or just like some random kid or old lady or guy from wherever. There's so much talent and there's so many good songs out there that just will never be heard. So you have to really like love it because there's no guarantees. Like we went in and wrote 1 million songs with people, not 1 million, but you go in, you write. And for most people, like nothing ever comes of it. That sounds a little depressing, but it's the reality because there's so many people writing there. But the experience alone, it's a really good life lesson. It's a really good way to grow as a human, honestly, is what I found. And yet, I'm going to tell you guys a few stories that were like some of the worst songwriting stories that happened when we lived in Nashville, because I've got some pretty good ones, okay? Because the music industry is a weird place, and there are a lot of music industry conspiracies, by the way. We should get into those at some point. Let's cover those on one episode. Okay, back to weird songwriting experiences, okay? First thing I'll say is this. When we started doing the co-writing in Nashville pretty regularly, it was after we had already sung back up and toured with Kelly Clarkson for 6 years. And some of it was during that time, but afterwards we got really into the writing, and we had also sung with a couple other big artists. And so the good part of that is that people want to write with you because you have a little clout. They're like, oh, you've written with Kelly Clarkson and you've sung on this and that. Yeah, let's write together. It's an automatic in. Okay. So that helps you for sure. The downside of that is everyone just thinks, oh my gosh, I'm getting together with these girls who sang for Kelly Clarkson. We're going to write a Kelly Clarkson song. That's like 90% of the people you meet with. I'm just being honest. That's their mindset going into it. And I can understand that. But Kate and I were like, that's not what we're doing here. You know, like we're writing because we're good writers, and we also want to write songs for our own records. And these are not like, we're not coming in here trying to write Kelly Clarkson songs. But that's how we got in the door. So it was a little weird because we would sometimes go in and people would be like, I had this idea, and it's like, it was basically like ripping off My Life Would Suck Without You or something. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not feeling that one today. But of course, I didn't say that. I'm just like, oh yeah, I love that. No, but that was awkward sometimes because I'm like, oh my gosh, we're not going to send this to Kelly. Okay, I just want to throw that out there. Like, let's start there. Anyway, so here's a story. We get set up with this one writer, and this guy had this, sometimes people will come in with like a whole song idea kind of ready to go. So he's like, all right, I got this song idea. I think it's perfect for you two. This was also as we were building our own career. And so people were writing also for us, wanting to find like the Jill and Kate hit, you know what I mean? And so they might Google us and see like two blonde girls, you know, in Nashville. So they have a certain assumption about us. And so this guy's like, here's the song. It's called All Dolled Up. And he was a super sweet guy, but he was like, this song, it's like, we're all dolled up, nowhere to go. And like, it was actually a great song. The song is not the problem. If you know me at all, one thing I would never say is like, I'm all dolled up and ready to go. It's just not who I am. It's like my mom with her leopard pants, maybe she might say, I'm all dolled up. I got nowhere to go. I just wouldn't ever say that. And I am so a little bit autistic that I'm like, no, I can't actually sing that. I would never say that. And so we would have situations like that. And he had the whole song. And here's the thing is sometimes you just have to go with it. I've learned this, and I should have learned this earlier, but sometimes you just have to go with it and be like, yeah, let's write that, because you want to get out of there at a certain point, you know, because there are times I've gone into a writing room and you're just like, again, like a date, you walk in, you sit down, you know, it's not going to work. You just know this is not a good match, right? And you just got to get through the date. Like don't order an appetizer, you know, just go for the meal and don't get dessert. Don't get another drink. It's just get through it. It's the same with songwriting. It's like, all right, I'm just going to write kind of a crappy song right now, because I just got to get out of here. It's like, I got to go. And that did happen sometimes, because you're not going to write a good song every time. And you just have to know when to just be like, all right. Okay, so that was one. Those are a couple stories. But my favorite songwriting story, we also wrote with someone who was narcoleptic. If you don't know what narcoleptic is, that is when someone just falls asleep randomly at any given moment, okay? So Kate and I go into this house on Music Row, and you go all the way up to like the attic, and it's the two of us. We're in our 20s or 30, I don't know, maybe 30. Probably not. We were probably like in our 20s. And who cares? And this guy is probably 60, I don't know, and super nice guy. really great songwriter. We had heard that he was narcoleptic, but we're sitting there, we're like in a really good mode, like we're getting through this song, it's really hitting. And all of a sudden, like we're kind of paused, thinking for a line or thinking for a note or whatever. And I look over and he's just like passed out, like just his head is just dropped. And he looked like he was deceased. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of panicked. And Kate and I, luckily there were two of us. So we were like, oh, we could say, and then she, we're trying to like talk so that he wakes up, but he doesn't wake up. And he's just like, just head down for like probably 4 minutes. And so Kate and I kind of like just looking at each other, trying not to laugh. Like, what do we do? Should we wake him up? Should we just keep going? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just pops his head up and he says a line like, and the tractor went over the hill. Like, I don't know what the line, that wasn't the line, but, and he like just goes immediately back into the writing mode and just as if nothing ever happened. And that happened a few times during the like 3-hour session. And I remember just walking out of there that day. We actually wrote a couple really good songs with him. But I remember walking out of there and just being like, Katie, I can't ever do that again because like it's traumatizing. Like I thought he was dead, and also like what? And I felt bad because I mean he can't help it that he's narcoleptic, but kind of a weird mix to be narcoleptic and a songwriter, because there are long awkward pauses in songwriting sessions because you're trying to create something together and you're like, is that dumb? Is this, should I say it? So there are times where there's silence, but this guy just passed out. And I will tell you, nothing will make you feel as insecure as when you're writing a song and the co-writer just falls asleep, You're like, okay, that probably was not my best work, So anyway, those are a few of my Nashville co-writing stories. But another question that one of you asked that you wrote in was, what comes first, the melody or the lyrics? And for me, it's like they really do truly come together most of the time. I usually write by just picking up a guitar and like starting to sing. And that's just how I do it. Every once in a while, I'll come up with a line and I'll write it in my notes app and I'll come back to it. But I will rarely write like a bunch of lyrics and then put it to music. And I will rarely write music and then a lot of people will make a whole track and then try to write to it, which I've done before, but I don't do as well with that. I kind of feel like they come together for me most of the time. So that's a good question. It's different for everyone, I think. Another question, someone said, where is the strangest place you've ever written a song? Oh, that's such a good question. And I don't know. I mean, like, I will say I do think of song ideas a lot of times in the shower. I don't know why. It's just, you ever just have your best ideas in the shower, And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get out and like dry off so I can like write this down or record it. You're welcome for that. But that is probably, I don't know if that's the strangest place I've ever written a song. I'm sure there's stranger ones. I mean, we would always write on the bus when we were touring. We would write on the bus a lot. And I've written on planes a lot too. Just lyrics, I guess, because you can't really sing on the plane. But I'm going to have to come back to that. And if I think of any stranger place, maybe there is one. Okay, let's keep going with the listener questions in this. I was going to maybe skip some, but they're so good. Okay, so this one is, who would you choose for a duet? I don't know if that means songwriting or singing, but either way. Okay, I'm probably going to say, because I sang in a duo with another girl forever, basically, I'd probably pick a guy for who I would sing a duet with because I love singing with guys. So I probably would pick like Ed Sheeran or John Mayer. Those would be my faves, There's just something about a guy-girl duet that just hits you right in the soul, I love John Mayer and Ed Sheeran. Okay, any rituals or traditions right before you go on stage? Man, I told you I haven't been on stage in a little while, but when I do, it's just like a check your teeth, check your nose, give yourself a little woohoo. I do a little or like a woo just to warm my voice up. But no, I don't have like a touch your toes, touch your nose, whatever. I don't really do anything like that. So I don't know though. I haven't done it in so long. Maybe I can't remember. Okay. Maybe I'll need some new ones if I do any shows. All right. Do you have a song of yours that everyone loves, but you are kind of sick of? That's a great question. I don't know if everyone loves any of our songs, but I don't know. I'm thinking of like, there was a song we always had to put in our set list. It would probably be like Pop Song. I feel like people always wanted to hear that one, which I didn't really get sick of, but like I said, it's just kind of fluffy. It's fun though. It's a fun audience song. And then What Do You Say? We always had to play What Do You Say? I love What Do You Say? That was probably one of our biggest songs. But there were times where I was like, it's not that I'm sick of it, but it was not always the easiest for me to sing if I wasn't in like full vocal health, because it could get like just a little high at parts. So sometimes I'm like, all right, we got to do What Do You Say like early in the set, because I can't do that later on. So that would probably be it. But honestly, if I'm being honest, the fact that anyone ever wants to hear any of my songs is like a gift to me. I'm like, oh, because I do think this when it comes to songwriting, like when it became a job for me and something where I was making money from writing songs or releasing songs, or it became like you got to write something that's going to make you money, it changed a little bit the heart behind it. It didn't really, I don't think, but I felt the pressure of it. And I think I had to get to a point where I'm like, okay, I write songs for myself. That's my own therapy and that's my own passion. I love to do it. If someone else hears it ever, great. And they like it, even better. If no one ever hears a song I write, or if no one ever likes another song I write, that's fine. I don't care anymore. Like and I mean that genuinely. It's taken me like a while to get there, but that's where I started from, of like, oh, I'm just doing this for me. I would do it whether people listened or not. And that has been a process for me, but I really genuinely feel that. I hope that I write stuff that means something to someone else. That would be great. I mean, I think we all have gifts and we all have abilities, and we create things in order to like serve each other. That's why we're all here together. Not to get too woo-woo, but like songwriting for me has really started and it continues to be a process I use to either get an emotion out or to figure out what's going on inside of me when I don't really know, because my songs will often tell me that, like I said. The hope in sharing them is that we're all going through the same stuff, even though it's a little different, and hopefully it's relatable enough that it helps someone else, you know? I also don't want to act like it's all so serious. Sometimes I just write for fun and it's just like, bleh. Like it can be fun. It doesn't have to be like, I'm in therapy. Okay, I'm just clarifying that. Last question for today. There's a few more in here, but I'll add these to next week or something. Will you release any more music? That's a great question. Will I? I want to. Yes, I think I will. That's the goal. Okay, thanks for asking. Speaking of, great segue into, I'm going to play another unreleased song here. I did this a few weeks ago for that song called When I'm Ready. Here's another one that I wrote last year. I think it was July. I decided to write a song every day of the month. And it's just a little challenge to myself. I should do it again this year, honestly, because it's a really good challenge. If you're listening to this and you are a songwriter, or you want to be a songwriter, or it intrigues you in any way, challenge yourself to write a song every day for a certain amount of days. It could be 10 if you're just like 31 feels like a lot, but you're going to write and write and write. And I once heard the best advice from Linda Perry, who's an amazing songwriter. And she said, you're going to write 50 songs and like maybe one or two of them will be good, but the rest are going to suck. Every 50 songs, you know? And that's like, okay, that's how it's going to be. Just accept that and just keep writing, because the more you write, then you'll find the little good ones. Because I've written a ton of crappy songs. I don't even know how many of my songs are actually good. You know, it's like, it's hard to write a really good song, but the more you write, the better they're going to get. And the more you'll get like one really good one out of it. So I'm not saying this is that one. I just picked one out of my July songs to do. So this is one of them. It's called If You Wanted To. And it's about when like you're in a relationship and you know it's not really working. Like you need more than they're giving you. You know what I mean? Or like you're in it more than them. It's sort of just that feeling of like, if you wanted to, this could work, but it's clear that you don't want it to, you know? But it's sort of coming to that realization that even though you're in it and you want it to continue, like you can only fight so much for it, you know? It's very uplifting and positive, just like pop song, but I'm just kidding. So here it is. Okay. This is called If You Wanted To.
Say something. The silence is killing me. Oh, it's killing me. I'm afraid you'll never stay. So I just make you leave. Yeah, I just make you leave. I'm lying here alone. You saw my text, I know. It's always in your hands, and I'm not talking about your phone. I'm talking about my fragile heart that you could tear apart if you wanted to. Do something. You look like a statue when I'm looking at you. I wanna feel something, so I just get mad at you, and I give you attitude. I'm driving by your place, I'm calling out your name. It's been pouring here for days, and I'm not talking about the rain. I'm talking about my blue eyes. I'd let you drown inside if you wanted to. If you wanted to. And I'm just starting fights, 'cause I'm just terrified. I'm looking for anything, for any sign of life, and it wouldn't take too much. You could ease my mind if you wanted to. It's feeling like it's time. I can hear the sirens. It's burning down tonight, and I'm not talking about a fire. I'm talking about this love that just won't make it. And you could have tried to save it if you wanted to. If you wanted to.
Okay, that was If You Wanted To. I don't know if I'll ever put that out into the world, but it's out into the world for you guys. So thank you for being my safe little space where I can share. I feel safe here. I feel like, all right, well, I could do that. All the pill poppers out there, hope you enjoyed that one. The Jill pill poppers. I think we're going with pill poppers, guys. That was what most people liked. And the chill pills, the Jill chill pills was cool. I kind of like that. But the pill poppers just strikes me, you know? So I feel like I'm landing on that. So there we go. Okay, I got a few messages from you guys. Like, please make these episodes a little longer. This one's getting really long, but that's okay. We're going with it because we did skip a week. So they're not usually probably going to be this long because it is kind of a lot of talking for this little introvert. But I do have to do my top 5. So we're going to do top 5 songs of all time. This is so tough, but I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to stand by it. Coming in at number 5, we've got The Counting Crows with Mr. Jones. It is such a good song. When that song comes on, you know every word. It's so good. Mr. Jones, I will listen to that on repeat and that's been out forever, you know, but I never get sick of it. Number 4 is Gravity by Sarah Bareilles. Are we Sarah Bareilles people here? I know a lot of you are. Gravity is so good. That song makes me cry as soon as the first note hits. I'm not even going to lie to you. Okay. All right. Number 3. Number 3 is When It Don't Come Easy by Patty Griffin, who is probably my number 1 songwriter of all time. If I have to, not probably, she is my number 1 songwriter of all time. When It Don't Come Easy is the song. You may have heard of it, but if you haven't, you should listen to it. Okay. Number 2, everyone knows this song. I Can't Make You Love Me, Bonnie Raitt. Now, every song that I've given so far was written by the artists who performed them. This one was written, I'm going to shout out the songwriters because this is a songwriting episode, okay? Mike Reed and Alan Shamblin wrote this song. Bonnie Raitt made it, you know, what it is. But the song itself was written by Mike Reed and Alan Shamblin. And this, I Can't Make You Love Me. Can we talk about, I'm in my feels, guys. I'm just up in my feels today. Okay, and my number 1 song of all time, everyone who knows me knows this is true. It's just the greatest song ever, is Stay by Lisa Loeb. You say I only hear what I want to. Okay. I don't think that song will ever be topped in my life. It's just my favorite. So those are my top 5 songs of all time. All right. Thanks for hanging in there. Let's get to the Jill Pill. Today's Jill Pill comes from something that happened to me this week. Someone I was talking to that was it really helped me. And so I want to encourage you to do this too. Okay. The Jill Pill is this: tell people what you see in them. Like, tell people the good things that you see in them. And here's why I say that. I think we think a lot of other people like, wow, they're so brave, or like, wow, she's such a good mom. And you think that in your head. And I don't think we say it enough to each other. Maybe you do, and you're really good at that. I'm not really great at that, but I'm trying to be better at it. But the reason I'm thinking of this is I was talking to someone this week that is one of the most important people in my life. And she's a family member, and she's known me my whole life. And she was just like, you have been handling this with such tenacity. Like, Jill, this is like, I just look at you and I'm like, wow, you just have done this with so much tenacity. And she was talking about kind of like me dealing with my mom and this whole journey. And I was like, really? In my head, I was like, I feel like tenacity does not resonate at all for me. Like, I do not see myself having tenacity. And it would happen to be on a day where I just was feeling like a failure in every area of my life. I was just like, I'm sucking at my relationships. I'm sucking at work. I'm sucking at my own like self-care. I'm sucking at being a friend. Like, I felt just like I wasn't doing a good job at anything. And she was like, you just have such tenacity. And I literally Googled the word tenacity because I was like, does that mean what I think it is? Because like she couldn't be talking about me. But I needed to hear that day. I don't even think she was really thought that much about what she was saying. I mean, not in a bad way, but she was just telling me what she saw in me. And that was like her encouragement to me. And like, we need to tell each other more, wow, you're like so smart. You're so creative. You are doing such a good job with your kids, or you're so loyal. Like, you work so hard, whatever it is. Like, if you have someone in your life that you see a good quality in, I just think it's like, tell them. It doesn't have to be like a big drawn out thing. It's just like, wow, you're really killing it at that right now, because I just don't think enough people are hearing that from others. And so tell people what you see in them. That's the Jill Pill. Okay. Just maybe like one person this week that you think could either use the encouragement, or just someone you're just like, wow, I always notice this and I never tell them that. So that's my Jill Pill of the week, guys. Okay. Spread the love. Tell people what you see in them. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. It was great to be back. I love this. And I appreciate you listening. Please subscribe, leave me a rating and review if you feel up to it, and keep coming back for more. We'll get into more conspiracies. We got to do the music industry conspiracies. That's definitely a good one. And people ask me about that a lot. So we'll do that. And we'll keep up on Nancy Guthrie and of course the scientists. And we'll do another cult episode before too long too. Ooh, and I do have a few guests lined up finally. Okay. So I've spoken to like 3 or 4 guests that are going to come on, and I just need to actually have those conversations. So you guys are going to love those. I hope. You better. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Until next time, be good. Take a Jill Pill. Bye.